the keto gurus say,
Yeah.
you don't need carbs to build muscle. You don't. No, that's technically correct, but is it optimal? And I want to be optimal with everything.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Today, I'm very excited to be talking to Alan Reeves, who I've had on my show before, but today we're going to be talking about carbs, speeding up the metabolism, and getting shredded. Hi, Alan.
How
Welcome
you
again to
doing?
my
How you
show.
doing? It's about 2 or 3 years, I think, isn't it?
Has it been? It might have been.
Yeah, I think so. Because it was actually you that suggested I start the YouTube
That's true.
channel. You was the one that said
You're welcome.
you need to get on YouTube after I did your episode, and
I do remember that.
yeah,
I push people. I like to
so I
push
did.
everybody a little too much sometimes everywhere. It's like,
Well,
you
it
can do
worked.
it.
It worked. I got a bunch of followers, mostly on Instagram actually, but now I'm back on a new series of YouTube, and I do it with Richard Smith,
I love
Keto
Richard.
Pro. You know
Yes,
him, yeah.
of course. I love him. Tell him I say hi.
Yeah, I will
Yeah.
do. So yeah, it's going great, and Instagram's booming. And now
Nice.
I have my own men's health retreat as well, which I run, teaching them all about I've called it the Alpha Diet, as you can see behind me,
Right.
because this stands for anabolic leverage of protein hormone activation, because that's what the carbs do.
I
It
love
activates
anabolics. Tell me more.
it. But it's based on the anabolic diet, as I maybe said before, which was Dr. Mauro Di Pasquale's creation back in 1995. I think I first read that book.
Nice.
And it was the cyclical ketogenic diet. So I've been doing that. I was strict keto for 2 years, and now I've been doing cyclical for the last 8. And I've just found it works perfectly and keeps me shredded. Since I spoke to you, I won another men's physique title in Sweden. I was Mr. Sweden for over 40-year-olds, even though I was 50 then. Now I'm 50.
Wow.
Now I'm 52.
Congratulations. Did you do that after you reintroduced carbs?
Well, no, I did the first show back in 2018 without carbs, but I won that one. It was an amateur one. Then I went cyclical, and I won the pro one. And then 5 years later, or whatever it was, because of COVID and moving around, I did the one in Sweden, which is called Lucia på Kolen. It's a Swedish thing. And then I became the Swedish champion for over 40s, men's physique.
Wow.
But that was with carb cycling, or the Alpha Diet, as I have named it.
Yeah, right. Isn't it so much easier to have more energy, build more muscle, speed up the metabolism when we reintroduce carbs?
Well, last time I spoke to you, was you strict carnivore?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And then
What happened?
So I just realized that, my whole thing is raising baseline dopamine, right? And I want to raise it more and more and more. There's only so much. You're going to hit a wall at some point, right? You can't really keep pushing that baseline dopamine, which is the same as saying raising baseline serotonin, acetylcholine, all the brain chemicals, but all roads leads to dopamine, right? And so by improving all the other ones, at the end, you always are gonna also increase baseline dopamine. And so at some point, you're just gonna hit a wall, whereby it doesn't mean you can't do it. You can stay keto. Obviously, there's not a lot, but there are some keto athletes, and the problem is that then you have to rely on artificial sweeteners and electrolytes and all kinds of different maneuvers to address insomnia, especially as you get into leaner body weights or even higher performance levels. And so
It's funny you say that. I noticed that the leaner I got, the more I felt I needed some carbs. I just felt better.
Right.
It was like literally 20, 30 grams. And then it became, my average daily carbs now is probably around 75 to 100. That's my average, average daily carbs. And then twice a week, I have carb refeeds. So every 3 days, I guess. And that's when I have, it depends. It ranges from 2.5 grams per kilo of my weight up to 5 grams per kilo. And I'm around 90.
So if you're 90 kilos, let's say.
So it's around 450 grams of carbs.
450 grams. Yeah, exactly. That's what I normally see, right? In terms of athleticism for people who have super fast metabolisms and are lean without
and
having
holding much muscle. Yep. Because all the carb gurus, the keto gurus say, you don't need carbs to build muscle. You don't. No, that's technically correct. But is it optimal? And I want to be optimal with everything. Just because you don't need it, because yes, your body will make it with gluconeogenesis, but it also lowering insulin all the time raises SHBG. SHBG, I tell all my guys, if you've got high testosterone, you've got total testosterone. It's like having $100,000 in your bank account. You've got your bank card, but no PIN number. So you can't get at the money. So it doesn't matter. So you can't get at your testosterone.
Exactly.
When you have that carb refeed, it lowers the SHBG because insulin goes up.
Globulin, just so people don't lose us, right? You eat the carbs, you release the insulin, it drops the sex hormone binding globulin. Sex hormone binding globulin, or SHBG, is what binds and sequesters testosterone, so you don't have enough free testosterone. So if you have high levels of SHBG because you're not eating carbs,
you can't get to the testosterone.
You can't get it, exactly.
So even when you do that carb refeed, you notice that evening and that morning when you wake up, for example, your libido, let's say, is higher and you are pointing in the right direction, if you know what I mean.
Exactly. What do they call it? Do they call it morning wood?
Morning wood, yeah.
Exactly. That's actually a fantastic measure of overall health and metabolism and everything really working the way it's supposed to, and optimize hormonal.
And you often sleep better that night as well because of the carb, as you said, dopamine response. And my wife is Chinese, so it was always a problem for those 2 years to go and eat with her family at functions. Try and eat Chinese food when you're just having duck, and I would take an avocado and a slab of butter with me and eat it under the table like this. And once I went cyclical, I could then eat the lovely dim sum and white rice. My carb refeed is always 99% white rice. That's what I find the best. Sushi, I have sushi on that day.
I have introduced beans and legumes, which, and I love it. Like, it's easier to hit, because the hardest thing, once you reintroduce carbs, then the hardest thing becomes is making sure you're ensuring your protein goal is met, and that is what I.
It's always more difficult for ladies. That's their number one thing. They don't eat enough protein. They think they do, and I've calculated it with ladies, and we've added it up, and it's 25 grams for the day, and you're like, oh my God, no wonder you're starving or not putting any muscle on. No. Protein has to be sufficient whether you're gaining weight or losing weight. You need protein. And protein is not just for muscle. Protein's for your organs, your bones, your brain,
immune system.
Everything. We're
made of dopamine. You need it, right? You need tyrosine, which is an amino acid that is going to convert into dopamine. So you're not eating enough protein, you're not going to make enough dopamine, you're not going to be able to make enough serotonin, which comes from tryptophan, another amino acid.
So when you went back to carbs, I know when I was strict keto for 2 years, I had a piece of naan bread at an Indian restaurant we went, and I was in agony for like 4 hours. My stomach was bloated. And now I actually avoid bread. I still get all my guys to avoid gluten, because bread is not bread anymore.
True. It depends where you get it. Like, if you can get your hands on homemade fermented sourdough bread that you make, and it still has some live, probiotics in it, even though, like, if you get it, they say,
for sure.
Everything's
going to die. Off the shelf, no.
Off the shelf, no, definitely. Like, 50 ingredients on the ingredient list for like a slice of bread, that's not health, that's for sure. However, having said that, because I train and I not only lift weights, but I also run, and lately really ramped up the sprinting, which was another game changer. What that leads to is tighter and tighter tight junctions in your gut and better gut diversity. And so I was able to not suffer as much, if any, really at all, by reintroducing a wider
you went
variety
slow and then added them all.
Oh, yeah, I didn't, I didn't go from zero fiber, zero carbs to.
Because I was never carnivore, so I was never, as my microbiome wouldn't be as limited as yours. I still ate a lot of Greek salads, vegetables, right. Green salads. I never went carnivore, although I would have the odd carnivore meal just through being lazy, just make a steak and eggs. But I've always liked a Mediterranean style keto diet, which I still do that.
I think gluten is definitely a harder protein to digest for a lot of folks. I think the cardio is what helps me out a lot, because on top of the strength training, the cardio and doing it in a way where I am doing it with the intention of constantly setting PRs and getting faster and faster. So it's constantly progressing. When you do that, the more speed you get with the cardio machines, the more intense you can do it, the faster your gut motility and the stronger the tight junctions, meaning leaky gut is sealed above and beyond what you can do with anything else. So I think that may have been exactly HCl levels, stomach, acid goes up, bile goes up, digestive enzyme production ramps up.
What cardio do you do? Running?
I have my treadmills right there. Running. So I do running at around 8 miles per hour, which I know sure some people are having a heart attack right now, but I can do that because when I sprint, I'm sprinting at 10 miles per hour. So when I'm doing once or twice a week, the goal is to get it to 2 to 3 times a week of doing at 10 miles per hour. Yeah, and every week I go up by 0.2 miles per hour in terms of speed on my sprints. And I also, the regular run, like the fun, easy run, which is easy for me.
So is that more zone 2 or zone 3 for you?
Yeah, I would say closer to zone
3.
Zone 2 for sure. And definitely, 8 miles per hour. Yeah, you're definitely closer to zone 3. But it doesn't feel like that, right? Because my sprinting is much higher. I'm trained, and I'm constantly training to push that higher and higher and higher. Because I'm just a very curious person. I wanna see what more. How much further can I?
You're looking in better shape than you was before, for sure.
Infinitely better, for sure. Right?
You can see you've got more muscle.
10 pounds more, 10 pounds less body fat, maybe, or maybe 7 pounds less.
And you still weigh in the same, but you've changed.
The weight is the same, but the body fat percent has dropped for sure, and I'm adding muscle. Absolutely.
Wow. And
just by adding carbs. Isn't that what?
And we're not getting any younger, are we?
Right? Exactly. And that's the thing. That's the thing with keto and carnivore can heal people instantly, like put a Band-Aid on the problem, if you're reacting to certain foods because you have leaky gut or, usually it's leaky gut. And so right away it removes that. And you feel amazing and you want to convince yourself so hard that this is the optimal way to go until you realize that you're going to hit a wall at some point, right?
Yeah, it works until it doesn't.
Exactly. Even if you heal leaky gut a little bit, I can heal it at a much higher level with working out, because you might heal it a little bit, but you still don't have tolerance or resilience against EMFs or molds or environmental toxins that keep getting more and more numerous in your life and your environment. Whereas with training, you can always outpace the rate with which the stressors are being added to our modern lifestyle.
Yeah, training is the answer. Adding muscle as well and getting strong. And ladies should concentrate on definitely getting strong. The muscle will come. Just concentrate on progressing your lifts every single month. You should be lifting more. And if you're lifting 100 pound this year and you're lifting 130 pound next year, you will have more muscle. But it's a slow process. And you can't track it on a scale. You can only track it in your logbook. Yeah. That's what I tell everybody to do. Track your lifts, because people don't. They just do the same thing every single week from age 30 to 40 and then quit at 40.
Or the group classes,
Yeah, especially ladies love the group class. I'm a PT in the gym, and the group classes are always full with the ladies because it does motivate them. So it's better than nothing.
But
better than
but
nothing.
it's actually doing the worst thing you can do, because you're going to adapt to it. And now because your metabolism adapts, right? So when you first start doing it, sure, you see a little bit of benefit because you're not adapted to that workout. So your metabolism speeds up just a little bit to match the intensity of that workout, and then you're stuck. And now, just to maintain your body weight and your fitness level
It's
and your
true.
body weight set point, you're forced to keep doing the same group.
It's funny. I had a session with a lady in the gym, and she wanted to know why she can't add muscle or gain any weight. I said, how many times do you do the classes? She said only 5 times a week, and she does the trip, it's called, and that's the cycling, high intensity cycling. It's brutal cycling,
right? Well,
and she does that, and she goes running, and said, how much do you eat? Because I know you don't eat enough. Because there's no way she would be able to eat enough to outpace all that exercise when she's not lifting any weights at all. You're not going to add an ounce of muscle. You're going to lose it.
No.
And that's the
so
problem.
It's hard to add a pound of muscle,
Yeah. Especially when you get over, over 30, over 40, for sure.
Yes. If you're sick and tired of spinning your wheels and constantly rebounding after every dieting attempt, you just didn't have the tools to lower your body weight set point, reach out for coaching so we can raise your baseline dopamine, lower your body fat set point, so that you can live life as if you were born with skinny genetics, not just skinny, but fit and healthy genetics. Check out my coaching packages at drsarahzaldivar.com/coaching, and you can use code YouTube to get 50% off my coaching packages within the next 48 hours. And to stay updated on all my research, make sure you're signed up to my newsletter at drsarahzaldivar.com/newsletter. Now back to the podcasts.
Exactly. I'm over 50, but I gained 22 pounds of muscle from my second show to my third show.
Wow.
Being cyclical keto, I did start TRT as well, age 46. So, of course, I had low testosterone for the first 2 shows, which I wasn't aware of. Well, I was for the second. I was aware, but the NHS gave me some.
And that's when you were
No, it was before. They gave me some, and then they wouldn't give me any more. They gave me for like 6 weeks or something. Because the endocrinologist wrote to the doctor and scared him, and that's how they work in England.
But if you're above a certain age, kind of like if a woman had menopause.
Not by the NHS. You've got to go private.
They won't give you HRT on it. Okay, I see.
Not for men. You really got to be in a bad way and tell them you're suicidal or something, and then they don't give you enough. They gave me 1 shot every 3 weeks, which made you feel good for 2 and good for 1 and terrible for 2. So I went private, but when I found a clinic, which was years later, age 46, I started that.
Gotcha. Okay.
And of course that helped me to. It wasn't just that. I started the carbs as well. You see, I started the carbs. I added all that muscle. So I found I got too skinny.
Yeah.
I got too skinny, and that's why I call my diet the anabolic leverage of protein hormone activation, because the carbs make you anabolic because of the hormones. And this is what I've tried to. So this is what Mauro said in his book in '95. Insulin's more anabolic than testosterone. And if your insulin's chronically low, you're not anabolic. So you're not going to add much muscle. Now, there was a big influencer the other day talking about the carnivores saying that meat spikes insulin more than oats. And I never heard anybody talk like that.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
No.
Then you wouldn't need the carbs, because it simply doesn't. Carbohydrate. Also, we haven't talked about leptin, the satiety hormone, because you get to that stage where if you're dieting, within 3 or 4 days, your leptin drops by 50% when you're in a calorie deficit. And protein and fat does not raise leptin, only carbs. So when you've got that starving mode, you can't get out of it. You have your carb refeed, resets the leptin. Next day, you're back in the deficit, no hunger.
I mean,
you're the doctor. Am I talking correctly?
1000%. Not only in terms of the science, because after really, being very well intentioned, trying to make the carnivore hypothesis work, you just keep coming across data points and studies and real life experiences and personal experiences that you have to, like, my goal is peak performance. My goal is raising baseline dopamine, right? And keeping a low body weight set point with maximum energy that keeps getting more and more and more. I'm always pushing the limits. I don't believe there are limits. So if that's my goal, then any data point in support of that, I need to really pay attention. I try things out, and then I enlist some of my clients, and I'm like, listen, here's what I'm thinking. What do you think if we ditch the strict carnivore and try, like, just trust me on this. Let's just give it a few weeks. And then you get enough clients, and I do that. And then once I am convinced, then I start creating content on that.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to confuse people every day, right? Because I have all kinds of
thoughts. You do carbs a little every day. How many grams?
Exactly. So right now I'm doing 150 grams, sometimes 170. But yeah, I would say 150 would be pretty much what I do every day.
Which is still classed as a low carb diet.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's still,
I could totally do more. Yeah. I just want to get to a point where I put even more muscle so that I'm always insulin sensitive. Like, because I could do more carbs, but I'm not so sure I still have enough muscle right now to be able to suck all that carbs and keep, because I've dealt with acne before. So if I do that, I risk getting acne again. So I want to ensure, because every pound of muscle you add, it increases your insulin sensitivity by around 15 grams of carbohydrates, because that's how much it can store. It can store around 15 grams of glycogen, maybe more. The more fit you are, a pound of muscle can actually have even more than that. But let's just say worst case scenario for people who are listening. Every pound of muscle that you add, you can increase your insulin sensitivity and your ability to handle more carbs by around 15 grams. That's one slice of bread. That's a piece of
interesting
food, right? That's an ounce of pasta or whatever. And so I know I can still easily add 7.
And I've done my refeeds for a show, and I was talking on my channel the other day, because I did 400. It was about 475. It was slightly loosely tracked one meal. So say around 475, 500 on Tuesday. In the morning, I weighed 89.3. This is in kilos. Yeah. At the night, I was 90. In the morning, the following morning, I was 89.4. So I was 100 grams heavier. So it's nothing. It's literally half a go at the toilet. It was nothing for a fiddle. But a glass of water. So it was the same. So that 400-500 grams of carbs did nothing to me. When I do a show, I have to do that amount for 3 days to fill up properly. Then I know that I'm ready, because I've actually added some weight. And I've tested my ketones. I've done it on a Saturday and a Sunday. I've done 500 each day. Monday morning, I've got 0.5.
You're back into ketosis after 2 days of
exactly.
Nice.
Exactly. So I'm very insulin sensitive now.
I love that.
And that carbs do the thing that they should. Before I started this, I would have my oats, bodybuilder's breakfast, and I was falling asleep at 10 o'clock. Literally, I was so exhausted. I was pre-diabetic for sure. So I had to heal for 2 years.
Exactly.
Then I introduced it. It's like you don't take medicine forever. You take medicine until you're healed. Then you look after your body with the correct diet. And that's my thinking.
Right. Exactly. You take the medicine until you heal, and then you stop. Because if you're healthy and you're still taking the medicine, now it's actually causing you new issues, right? There was a trial, the Direct UK trial, that they reversed diabetes in people while giving them carbs, just healthy carbs, not drug foods type of carbs, and we're not talking Oreos here. And just by putting muscle on them, that's it. And the people that put on the most muscle and the people that lost the most amount of body fat, because by the way, the more body fat you lose, the more insulin sensitive you become. This is why what drives me mad is like the people that are doing, let's say, keto or carnivore. I think this is I don't know, maybe I'm exposed more to it, but like in the carnivore community, it's like, I'm healing. And it's like, you've got 100 pounds or 50 pounds extra on you. There's no healing happening. I don't care what you're doing. You got to lose the weight first. You know, that's what's going to reverse insulin.
Get yourself insulin sensitive. See, it's funny you talked about body fat set point, because I got down to this body fat age 45 for my first show.
Yeah.
And I've remained at that body fat ever since, whilst gaining 22 pounds of muscle.
Nice.
And now my baseline maintenance calories is around 3,600.
Nice.
So I can eat a lot of food and stay at this. I'm still less than single digit body fat, age 52. And I haven't dieted for the last almost 2 years when I won my last show. And I'm exactly the same weight. My show weight was 90. I was 90 this morning.
Wow. Yeah.
But my body fat set point now is
shifted downwards.
Stuck around 9-10%.
That's it. That's the easiest way to, first of all, fall in love with health and fitness, because that's what I want for people to experience, the joy that comes with it. You want to be addicted to the lifestyle.
Yeah.
The only way I think you can do that is by lowering your body weight set point, because if you're constantly white knuckling it just to lose a little bit, and every time you're going to rebound, you're actually driving your body weight set point higher.
Exactly. I have a real big bunch of clients from Miami, actually, as we talked about now. Since I run a men's health retreat in Spain, a guy came over from Miami, a big entrepreneur, young lad, and because he saw I was working with Dorian Yates and saw how I looked. Dorian.
Wait, who worked with Dorian Yates?
Me. He talks at my retreat.
Did you ever tell me that?
No, he didn't do that then. I became one of his certified trainers.
Oh, nice.
So I'm one
I
of
would
his
have remembered that had you told me that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
and now then he talks at I've done 2 retreats so far, and he speaks at them about motivation and training, of course, because he's a legend, and speaking to legends like that is really a great experience. Well, this guy came along, and he thought he was quite lean, and then he met me and he realized he wasn't. So he had been lean before, but he did it in a bodybuilder's fashion, and he bounced back within, like, he got to his 10%, and then the following week 15% again. He put it all back on.
Oh yeah, I've seen that happen. Easy.
So now he's been doing my plan for the last 8 months, and he's finding it comfortable and easy. I said, you've got to stay at this weight for so long to get your body fat to stabilize at this set point.
Exactly. And it takes time to add the amount of muscle necessary to drive that body weight set point, right? Because you can lose a lot of weight, but if you don't have enough muscle to determine that lower body weight set point, and you just forced your body fat down without an appropriate increase in muscle, your body weight set point is still there, where the amount of muscle that you've got, right? And so you're just going to rebound so fast.
Exactly. And now he's been settled at this weight for this percentage for a couple of months now. So
love that.
One time I come to see him in November, I'm coming to Miami. And then after that, we're going to be main gaining, not bulking. You main gain.
Break the sets.
Exactly. You grow whilst staying lean, because you don't need to use the word bulk. It's just an excuse to get fat.
Exactly. Because you're going to have to diet that away anyway, which means you're going to lose some muscle anyway. So
exactly. Unless you want to be a huge heavyweight bodybuilder, and they might have to consume all that many calories to get that size, but that's not most people's goals.
Exactly. You do have outliers. Some people genetically their metabolism comes back online so quickly. I've had some of those clients where I'm reversing them out, like reverse dieting them and giving them more calories. But I want to be conservative, because I don't want them to gain any body fat. You know, if we've lost the weight, now I just want them to add. Some people's metabolism just ramp up like insanity, and I have to give them 150 extra calories every day or every 2 days, to the point where like, I can't eat anymore. So they do exist, and those people, at some point, if they want to keep adding muscle, especially I feel like with men, they always want to add even more muscle. You might have to give them a more drastic.
Age over 40, you're fighting not to lose muscle, never mind gaining it. You're losing muscle every single year. And women, when they're over 50, you're losing bone density. That's the terrible thing. By 60, when they fall down, you break your hip.
Most women have sarcopenia in their 30s. And
really, that young?
Oh yes, because we just the yo-yo dieting, not knowing how to diet, not knowing that your metabolism is actually slowing down with every attempt at any diet you do.
And the lack of protein.
Carnivore, exactly, because they're not strength training. They are not understanding. It's like they're just, oh, I'm just going to do OMAD, or I'm just going to fast. And with all the keto and carnivore explosion in the last decade, that has wrecked more metabolisms that I can.
CrossFit, now it's High Rocks they're all going into.
Who? What are they
High Rocks. High Rocks is the new CrossFit. So.
What is that a European thing? Because I haven't heard of that.
Oh, right. I don't know. It's big over here in Europe. High Rocks, I think it's in America. No, I have a client that's doing it in America. High Rocks is like 8 exercises, but it's always the same. That's why CrossFit was always a different workout of the day. High Rocks, but you run a 1 mile, or I think it's 1 kilometer in between each exercise. So it's pretty brutal.
The thing with the group types of workouts like that, the thing is, the more group stuff you do, anything you try to like not be in complete control of your workout, eventually you're just gonna plateau, right? Because if you don't know how to push yourself and you don't know, okay, this is how much my squat is, the weights, this is how much my deadlift is. If you don't know that, you don't know how to push yourself, I feel like if you just do that, you'll always be in complete control of your body weight set point, and you can keep raising your baseline dopamine, and that's it. Like, your life is done.
And you don't get injured. You should never get injured when you're lifting weights, because if you're lifting them with a trainer, you learn the movement. You don't have to. It's not weight throwing; it's weight moving.
You've got to feel it. Totally.
Most people are pulling down on the lat machine, and they don't even feel their lats. That's why they're just pulling it. And they don't feel anything. You've got to feel
trainer. I agree. Would you recommend that people hire somebody, at least, and for how long? Especially if they've never taken control of their fitness program before.
100%. I mean, in my gym, they sell a packet of minimum is like 10. So at least if you was a newbie, you could have 2 a week for a month, or you could have 1 a week for 10 weeks.
Yeah.
It's like learning to drive. You don't turn 17. They give you the keys, off you go. You've got to learn. Once you've learned, then you can progress. So you've got to learn the movement. Weightlifting's a strange one, because people join a gym and think they can do it, because I've seen it on YouTube. How hard can it be? And yes, you can do the movement, but you're not doing it with the muscle that you're trying to train. You're just moving the weight. You're not moving the muscle. And that's the biggest thing that I see. But the good thing in a gym, when a woman does have it, they're more likely to hire a personal trainer. The women in our gym, for sure.
Yeah, I think
because
like
the men think, I know what I'm doing. I don't need a trainer.
True.
But the ladies will hire one.
I remember, and I read that, I listened to Mind Pump. Have you ever heard of the Mind Pump podcast? They're really great.
Mind Pump? No.
Really good. Like, they talk all about, speeding up the metabolism, reverse dieting, and all that kind of stuff. And so, they threw a statistic the other day, and I Googled it, and it turns out to be accurate, that the vast majority of clients in terms of training programs is usually women. It's like somewhere like 80%, and that's in the United States.
Right.
So I guess it's globally, women tend to hire trainers way more than
our biggest percentage of client is a lady age 42. That's the average client that buys sessions in our commercial gym over here.
Right. Yeah. So yeah.
But most of my clients online are all guys, because they want to look like this, and you can't buy this. You've got to learn how to do it, and then you've got to do the work, and then you need me to tell you to do the work, to hold you accountable, to tell you when you're not feeling right, we're going to do this. We're going to increase the carbs a little bit. We're going to increase, here and there. So it's a journey and a whole program. Some people come on for 4 months. Some people have been in for 3 or 4 years, and they just love having a coach, because any pro athlete has a coach.
Yeah, it's even more important as you become more advanced.
Yeah. Exactly. And you've got to, play with your intensity and frequency, because the stronger you get, the less you need to go, because you've got to recover.
Right.
ladies can do more volume, they can recover quicker, but maybe because of the strength profile, the majority of ladies are not lifting as heavy as a man, so the central nervous system's not getting such a whack.
Yeah.
And you can go again, but if you're lifting really heavy, you can't really lift more than 4 times a week. You've got to recover. And that's why I teach them mobility for the other days, stretching, yoga. I teach all that, because my warm-up when I was in my 30s was that, right, I'm ready. And you'd start lifting. But now I'm using bands, I'm doing rotations, and I fixed all my injuries. No bad knee, no bad shoulder anymore, no bad back, because I had all that when I was 40. Now at 52, no injuries. So you can get better.
And the fitter you get too, the faster your body recovers, and the more it releases all of those peptides that help you recover even faster, right? And so even if you're just starting out and you're working out and you're feeling aches and pains in the beginning, everything's going to hurt a little bit. Every day you're going to think that, oh my gosh, I'm falling apart. But after the first few weeks, nothing hurts. And then as you get fitter and fitter and fitter, you recover faster and faster and faster. Now, of course, I think carbs play a huge role in speeding up recovery, because if your glycogen is empty, or not just empty, I know there, studies show that, if you're well keto adapted, it's pretty much the same. But why do I want to keep it the same? Why don't I want to maximize my glycogen fuel tank so that I can push my performance and my recovery even faster? Because guess what?
You can overcompensate with glycogen as well when you go anabolic like that. So you can really have a bolus of carbs. You deplete your glycogen with a high volume workout on a Friday, a depletion workout. Then you have a big bolus of carbs on the Saturday, and you overcompensate, so you get bigger, basically.
Right. That's a great strategy, by the way.
That was from Lyle McDonald. He wrote that in his Ultimate Diet 2.0.
Yep.
He has 3 different workouts, and his third one is a depletion workout, and it's brutal. I mean, it's like 2 hours of 20 reps times 2 on every single body part, but you're completely drained of everything, and then you have a huge amount of carbs. They're talking like 1,000 grams.
And when you do that, does your your muscles are gonna be able to then store even more glycogen at rest? Do you think that stays? Do you think you always have to do those depletion phases to maintain that super physiological level of
I don't do the depletion. I've done it. I don't do it regularly, for sure. So and I stay the same, no problem. But it's to do that all the time. It's really brutal. To do that. I don't like a high volume workout for
training without carbs at that level.
For my age as well, for your joints, you're just wearing them out. So I do low volume, high intensity, which is very much Dorian Yates. I mentioned tonight, I just started Dante Trudell's dog crap training. Have you heard of that one?
No.
Dog crap. I think he never had a name for it. It was like, I think it was early 2000 he designed it. I was like, what's this called? And he was like, dog crap. And it just stuck. So they call it DC training.
Okay.
Dante Trudell is a fantastic, well-respected bodybuilding coach, super knowledgeable. I mean, there's not much he doesn't know about training and muscle. And he's a big guy. And he must be pushing 60, I would guess. So he's been around a long time. But the Dante Trudell method is very similar to Dorian's, but he trains 3 body parts, for example, at once. So today it was chest, back, and shoulders, and triceps. But you only do 1 exercise for chest, 1 exercise for shoulder, 1 for triceps. But you take it to failure, rest, failure, rest, failure. You do 3 sets of failure on each one, so it's brutal, but God.
Interesting. I'm gonna have to look into that.
Yeah.
I currently do 5 by 5, so 5 sets of 5.
Which is traditionally a power lifter's way of gaining strength.
And so, like, I keep adding more muscle and strength, like week by week. I'm hitting PRs by doing that, even if I'm hitting that major muscle group just once a week.
Powerlifters are a great example, because if we're talking naturals, not PEDs, they're super strong powerlifters, and because they are beating their logbook every single block, might not be every week. They're doing 5x5. They might be doing 200 pounds for this 4 weeks. Then they're adding. Then they're doing 220. But a year later, they will be doing 300 pounds. So they are adding muscle and getting stronger. But their results is marked by their strength. A bodybuilder's is only marked with that one day on stage. It's a dieting competition. It's just what you look like. Whereas a powerlifter, it's a sport. You've got to get the numbers, and that's why they progress it. So it's a great way of training. And they used to say you can't add muscle unless you do more reps. That's nonsense as well. We could talk about how fibers are recruited, because if you're going heavy, you don't have to go to failure. You're having full recruitment with those heavy sets. Whereas if you're training light, you have to go to failure, as you'll never get to full recruitment of the fibers. And most people never go to failure when they're training light. They stop at 10, they stop at 15.
For decades. That's
complete junk volume.
Yes. You keep going to the gym, you think you're working on, but by the way, like, that used to be me. The moment I would hear that, I would feel the burn, it's like, oop, I did 12 reps and I felt the burn, and now my stop's like, no.
Yeah, that's when you stop
counting.
When it hurts, that's when you start the set.
And
that is the harder thing. A lot of the ladies in the gym, they start giggling when it hurts and laughing, oh, it hurts.
Right.
No, focus. That's when you've got to go. Not you start when it hurts. Don't stop.
If the weights that you're lifting week by week are not going up, you're not speeding up your metabolism. And so if you're not going up in the weights, and on top of that, you're trying to lose body fat and dieting, then over time you're just raising your body weight set point, because you're not really putting on muscle, and you're still aging, and there's like anywhere between 1% to 2% of muscle loss that comes every year with aging anyway. So your metabolism is getting shot, right? And then you're accelerating the slowing down of your metabolism, because you keep trying to lose body fat, and every dieting cycle you do have, that's if you're not working out, you lose half of that weight in muscle. Now, if you are working out, it's a little bit better, but if you're not setting PRs and if you're not pushing yourself over time.
This is about dieting. Of course, the huge craze now is the GLP-1s, and studies have shown, or they've reported, up to 40% of muscle loss. The problem is they're giving out the drugs, and they're not telling people to lift weights. They're not telling people to eat enough protein. They're just not eating anything, or they're just having their bag of chips for the whole day. So you're going to lose muscle first. My dad had cancer and was in almost a coma, and the amount of muscle he lost in 4 weeks because he was just not moving in bed. And he was in his 60s, so it was unbelievable, though, the amount. He was a big guy, and it just went, shh. But that didn't go so much. The muscle goes first. And this is what you're finding on GLP-1s. If they dieted with that and had protein and lifted weights, they would get better results. Yes, some people do get side effects, but it's a lot healthier being lighter than it is being massively overweight. So there is a place for them.
If there's nothing else that's working and that's what's going to help you lose weight, I would rather you do that,
That's a good thing with the keto diet. It does control hunger better than when you're dieting on a high carb diet. I was always hungry all the time, and now I can skip a meal because I'm keto adapted.
The only thing I would say is that, because I've added carbs and I think it's because it goes along with the cardio. Maybe the cardio is...
You're lifting, you're eating protein. So you're doing everything right. If you was just doing nothing, having a lot of carbs and dieting, you'll be starving.
Exactly. If you're sedentary, for sure, keto carnivore is much easier as compared to adding carbs, right?
I would say earn your carbs, and you're earning them. But
nobody wants to earn their carbs.
I said to my guys, they're a tool, and we use them. You don't use every tool when you're fixing the car unless you need that tool. So we bring the carbs in when it's needed.
Yeah.
And you find what you're comfortable with. Some people are comfortable at 30 grams a day, especially at the start.
Right.
Some people need 80 grams a day. They just don't feel well unless they've got, and that's still a very low amount of carbs compared to your standard diet. Your standard diet's 350, 400 every day.
True.
And that's what got me.
But that's with a well-functioning metabolism, and most people's metabolisms have been shot, right? And so
like a kid, my boy's 9 years old. He can eat carbs and they can run around, then he can not eat for 7 hours and he keep playing football. Yeah. And they don't gain any weight, and they would go in and out of ketosis naturally. We lose that ability in our probably 20s these days. I mean, some kids now are losing it in before they're a teenager and that's through chemicals. It's not food, in my opinion. They're not eating food; they're eating junk.
Drug food. Those are drugs. Yes. Yeah.
Exactly. So they're being poisoned slowly. Yeah. But if you're talking about the kids in the 60s and the 50s, they were certainly eating potatoes, rice, bread every single day, and there was nobody that was overweight.
No. Yeah, just even the last 100 years, like 1900s, everybody was eating, bread. And
but it is the invasion of the seed oils. I was watching a lecture yesterday, but what was his name? Dr. Chris Kenobi, I think. I think it was somebody Kenobi, and Tucker Carlson. They talked about the time zone of when seed oils came in. This is when chronic disease also matched perfectly, because even in Japan, their disease rate of cancer, breast cancer, went up 500%, but their carbohydrate, their sugar, only went up 5%. But their seed oils went up also 500% at the same time. So they started cooking in that. And that's what's messed up their metabolism because of the chronic oxidized oils and the carbs.
Yeah.
Remove that oil, you can tolerate the carbs. So I don't have any seed oils. That's my number one, is no seed oil.
Yeah, I would make my students watch. There is a 3-minute quick YouTube video that shows you all the chemical steps that you would need to put through to make the seed oils.
To get the seed to make it into an oil.
Exactly, it's absolutely disgusting. It's a canola oil, how it's made.
I've seen it. It looks like a power station.
It's disgusting. And then they have to deodorize it and
bleach it.
That's not food.
Hexane.
Come on, yeah. I'm not even that, I still think the ratio of omega-3 to omega-6 we really need to be careful with. And I don't think people are getting enough omega-3s, especially on carnivore diets and eating all the ribeyes. And I don't think that's smart. And so, but at the same time, I'm not like, omega-6 is the devil. Like, no, I
you don't need to supplement. It's not essential because you've got so much stored in your cells for the next 10 years. There's a half-life of 598 days, so it's going to take you 5 years to remove them if you never have any.
You can sell your own canola oil for the next
day. But it did say the average American eats 80 grams of seed oil a day.
Wait,
80.
How much?
80 grams.
80 grams. People are eating 80 grams of seed oil per day?
That's what it said.
Impossible. 80 times 9. That would be 720 calories of fat. Yeah, actually, I could see that if they're doing.
Yeah. It was around 60% of their calories came from seed oils. And of course, then the other bit coming from carbs, and the protein's a little tiny bit. So straight away, I always tell somebody, just half your carbs and double your protein, you'll probably start getting in better shape. And, if they just ask what to do, remove all the seed oils, do that, and you're going to feel a lot better.
Right.
And just lift weights.
If somebody's listening and some people really struggle with starting the whole fitness lifestyle, and tracking is just, anytime you start something new, obviously it can be overwhelming. And so then it's so much easier to just tell them, don't worry, just whole foods, real whole foods. And when you do whole foods, as long, then you're going to get the fiber with the carbs, even if you're eating carbs. So overall, just naturally, your carb content is going to drop, right? Unless you're going out of your way to make smoothies and stuff. It's very difficult to eat a high carb diet when it's whole foods, like very high, unless, we
I always tell
want to win
guys,
the Olympia.
eat your calories, don't drink your calories if you're dieting, because you feel fuller when you're eating. But it depends where you're coming from. If you're very obese, if you're overweight, then I start them for sure strict keto. Get them insulin sensitive, then you can bring them onto the alpha diet. That's what I do. It could be from 3 weeks, could be 6 months, but then they will go cyclical keto, because I believe then you can do it forever.
I agree.
It's really sustainable, because as I said, I'm on 70, 80, 100 grams of carbs a day. Wednesday, 250, Saturday, 400. It's not hard at all. It's
and no cravings.
No cravings.
Zero cravings. Zero. Like you don't even care about cookies or cakes. It's not even a thought. Even if they're in your house, in your face.
No, I don't at all. My daughter, she's 12, the middle one, and she's big on baking. She's always baking cookies. She started baking bread this week, but I still didn't crave any. I don't even eat bread now. Bread was my favorite food, I think, before. I would eat sandwiches all day long. And of course, I would buy them from the Marks and Spencer's. Definitely had margarine on, wouldn't be butter. Too expensive for these stores. They always take a shortcut. So it's no wonder I became, tired, fat, and sick.
Resistant, yes.
But now I'm insulin sensitive, more muscle, feel better than I did when I was 40, and I'm stronger. So
and how's the cardio situation? You're not doing cardio, and
I do around 15,000 to 17,000 steps every day. I ride my bike to work every day, so I'm always using a bike. I don't use the car very much. I do probably one session of 10 minutes high intensity and plyometrics for another 20 minutes per week, and then I just do mobility. I get the heart rate up. I go swimming with my boy, and I try and do a few laps high intensity, get the heart rate up.
Fantastic. See, that's also another reason why the lower carb or keto days also are great, because if you were to start adding on top of everything you're doing, like the strength training, and you start adding like sprinting, then you're probably going to feel like I need even more carbs for that, and then that your overall is going to go higher. That was kind of another major trigger for me to just really have to face the fact that I'm gonna have to, if I really want to push.
How long have you been doing this, and what made you go back to it?
A few months of sprinting. I have to go back and because I tried.
No, the carbs. What made you go to the carbs? How long ago?
Because it's I think 2025, this year has been a game changer, like a life changer for me and for my clients. Because I did it first, then I convinced a bunch of guinea pig clients who were they were very happy.
Well, they see how you look as well. I mean, because you look good before, but now you look
leveled up. Definitely.
Next level.
Thank you. Definitely took it to a whole other level. More easily, more effortlessly.
That's the main thing. Right? That's the main thing.
You would think by taking my physique to that level that I would have more cravings, more thoughts of binging,
more exhaustion, more everything.
No, it was the complete opposite. You know why? Because I dropped my body weight set point. I did it the right way. By dropping my body weight set point, I raised my baseline dopamine and all of the chemicals and all the hormones. Everything was supercharged. And so my body is fighting to maintain that new physique. It's defending this new physique. Whereas in the past, it was defending a little bit higher body fat and lower muscle.
Wow. Amazing. So you say to everyone, if it's working for you, whatever you're doing, if you're thriving, carry on. If you're not, don't just stick to it just because, that's what you're supposed to do. I won't be in ketosis.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Once you're healed, just do what works for you. And that's why I work with guys closely to find out what works, because having the best of both worlds and staying insulin sensitive and being able and not having cravings for pizzas, that's
huge.
Then it's huge. Yeah, you can do it forever then.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And if something worked for you, because carnivore and keto worked for me, but at some point they stopped working, and so it's also important to realize that it might work initially, especially for insulin resistance, reversing that, right, and regulating those things. But at some point, then your hormones might actually, it could backfire if you stay in that stressed state, because it is a form of stress. So you're fasting in a way, right? You stay in that all the time, at all times. I'm just seeing, like almost everybody, insomnia, cramps, electrolyte imbalances.
There's one or two that doesn't, but there's one or two people that smoke 100 cigarettes and still live to be 100.
Right.
There's a few. There's a couple that are alcoholics and live to be 100, and they're fine. But that's not the normal. So you've got to play the averages, and the average person can't do that.
Just because they live to 100 does not mean they don't have other areas in their life.
I always said they might have lived to 120.
Who?
If they might have lived to being 120, these people, if they didn't smoke, because of course that is bad for you. But one time a day, when they was talking of low fat with Ansel Keys, they said that smoking was good for you.
Oh back in the day,
my doctor smokes Camel or Marlboro.
Right.
And they blamed the fat when it wasn't. It was, President Eisenhower had the heart attack. He smoked like 100 cigarettes a day, but they blamed the bacon.
Right. Right. It's food, right? That's true. So, and you only see somebody going through that phase for a snapshot. We really don't have the very long-term data. Let's say carnivore, right? Because I feel like a lot of people who might be watching this are in the keto or carnivore space. So if you really want to be on the safe side, just remember we don't really have very
compared to a standard American diet. Of course, keto and carnivore is fantastic. It's 10 times better. I want to be optimal. And I want to be superhuman. My guys want to be superhuman. And I think you need to have the cyclical version to get that edge, personally.
Agreed. Here's a fun fact. So, our ancestors ate meat. They never ate ribeyes. There was no meat around that had 30% fat. They were doing like maybe 2 or 3% fat. It was lean meats. Just look, even in this day and age, look around you in the environment. To be able to be lucky enough to find like a super fat animal, they're very rare. Most animals are lean in the wild. So there's that. We're not really, people try to think like, oh, fruits are hybrid. It's like, no, even the meat you're eating was never available to our ancestors, first of all. They ate seafood, so if you're doing just a lion or ribeye diet, and I understand some people have to, or for a certain period of time, that's a completely different conversation. I'm talking for people who think like that is the optimal. Seafood, iodine, selenium, omega-3s, every single study, like, no, I don't think eliminating omega-3s in seafood is a bet.
Obviously, women with their thyroid, you need the seaweed, you need the you need the selenium.
Yes. Well, thyroids are being shot, right? Thyroid hormones are being shot on long-term carnivore, especially, right? So all this stuff. Then you look at the cholesterol. Our hunter-gatherer ancestors had pretty low cholesterol. It was like in the 80 milligrams. And so if we want to follow what they ate, even the Inuit, right? Or the Maasai, right? Those carnivores. Inuit and Maasai. Okay, fine. No carbs, just carnivore. Well, if we think that that's healthy, shouldn't our cholesterol also mimic their healthy ranges, which is pretty low?
Well, I could talk about cholesterol for hours. I've read so much on it, and I still learn and watch. And of course, the standard diet tends to have high triglycerides. On keto, we always want to look for low triglycerides and higher HDL. And 99% of people, it goes that way when you're eating a ketogenic diet. But when I introduced the carb cycling, my triglycerides went down.
Isn't that why? It's because it's the insulin sensitivity and the physical activity that is really what we want to be shooting for. And we can improve insulin sensitivity above and beyond. When we're doing carbs and using that to build muscle and speeding up the metabolism, I can reverse insulin sensitivity at a much higher level than I can ever achieve with somebody who's just doing strict no carbs, just keto or carnivore. But at the same time, I can't push them harder because at some point you have to introduce carbs.
Exactly. There's a place for it, and I start my guys off on it, depending where they are. But then we bring in this cyclical, and they love it then as well because they've been missing it. So they're like, "Can I have that much rice?" Yeah, go and have that. And my Spanish guys in Miami, they have rice and beans. They love the rice and beans.
I'm doing beans. I'm loving it. Rice and beans.
Like, oh shit! Can I have that twice a week now? Yeah.
Yeah.
This is not a diet now. This is fantastic. And then you look forward to that more as well. And there's a psychological edge to having that. If you look forward to that meal, and then the next day you can be dieting again. Because if you're trying to diet, you need to have breaks. It's like if you're driving from Miami to California and you just had to do it in one go, it would be overwhelming. But if you're having breaks every 6 hours, it becomes easy. And that's what the cyclical carbohydrates test, because they're having a little break.
I love that. And now for people who are listening to this and they have reactions to certain foods, it's okay. We can reverse insulin resistance. We can reverse food sensitivities. We can reverse histamine intolerance. All those things can be reversed as long as we work on sealing the gut, and we can do that even while eating carbs, and if anything even faster, because I can seal the gut faster if I use those carbs to turbocharge your metabolism and get you fitter faster. So there's that as well, and then all of the food sensitivities and the foods you think you cannot handle, all of a sudden now you can, and your microbiome diversity grows. So it's okay. Be patient. Learn more about what we're talking about. And slowly but surely, I think if we just prioritize fitness, and if we just prioritize progressively overloading strength training, and I'm also like cardio and sprinting, I think is especially for gut health, because it speeds up gut motility above and beyond, resistance.
Yeah, most people, when they go on a fitness journey, they go for a run and they push themselves too much, and then the next week they get injured. That's the problem.
Yeah.
You've got to be very careful with bringing in running and sprinting, especially over 35, because they're broken. They've got to get fixed first. Right. Get strong, lose some weight, slow, and build it up. I'm sure.
Yeah. But that also, like, slowly and surely, and then know that
progression. That's the word.
You're going to recover faster. Your collagen is going to become thicker. Your ligaments are going to become stronger. Your bones are going to become stronger. And then your body and the bone density and joint health, all that stuff can be reversed by progressively overloading. Yes, I said it, cardio, but not quickly. Just like with everything, it's like hiring a trainer and going through every single workout to get the technique.
It's a journey, and it's forever. You don't get there. I'm not where I want to be.
I feel like we never get to where we want to. We always want more.
So that's it now. I'm finished. I don't need to go to the gym anymore. I'm excited to go to the gym tomorrow, and it's only a few hours from me. I'll be asleep, and I'm literally excited to get to the gym. It's that's 7 days a week I go to the gym. Yes, I work in a gym, but I still go to a different gym on my days off. But and I don't lift weights all the time. You do your stretching, your yoga, your cardio, your meditation, whatever. That's my thing. My boy, where's Dad at the gym? And I love that he's going to see that and grow up wanting to do the same. I hope. Right, it's better than being in the bar.
So much better.
There's the bar. That's the only bar you need.
I love that. It's clear, just your health, the way you look, your happiness levels. It's clear that you're on the right track. You're doing fantastic. We just need your social media to blow up. I'll give you a few tips afterwards of people that I think you should hit up for that.
It's actually nearly trebled in the last 4 months.
Yeah?
Yeah, they're on Instagram. It's gone from like 3,000 to nearly 8,000 something.
That's awesome. How come?
Yes.
Why do you think that happened?
I'm posting more often now. I try and post daily and talk on it and just get active with it. For my age group, getting back onto social media, it was a bit of a strange thing. I never used to like taking a phone in a gym. I'm from that age when that was the worst thing you could have done, was have a distraction in the gym. And this is a reason a lot of people don't make progress, because they're on that all the time, in between sets or even during their set. They're doing a leg extension, texting or talking. Just get off the phone and train.
Yes.
But, you know, I do have to take and film stuff now, because that's what I'm obviously showing to all my followers. So I'm more active now.
Love that. Yeah. I agree. Like you don't want it to distract you too much. Having said that, I'm always listening to podcasts and
I always listen, but you don't have to be texting.
Right, not on it, and
talking.
Definitely not while in the middle of your workout. I mean, that tells me you're most certainly not hitting any PRs. You're not progressing.
No, exactly. You've got to concentrate. You've got to be in a battle with yourself every single set, every single rep. You've just got to do it. And it's not, you don't need to train for long. 40 minutes. Dorian trained 40 minutes 4 times a week, and he was Mr. Olympia 6 times. So he managed it, and that you don't have to be Mr. Olympia. So if you can get in there half an hour 3 times a week, you're going to be in a lot better space than you were last year. Start today, not tomorrow. Now.
Put the cookie down now.
Exactly.
You know where that's from, right? The Schwarzenegger movie.
Which one is it? I'm too old to watch movies.
Put the cookie down now. Where his neighbor is visiting his wife, and I think he's hitting on his wife, and he's like an absent dad. I forget. He's got great movies. And then there's Get in the Chopper.
You've lost me. I don't watch my TV. Actually, the only thing I've watched recently was Yellowstone and all the spin-offs from that.
We started it 2 nights ago.
No, the first 3 or 4 episodes are slow.
It's slow, isn't it?
Afterwards, the best thing you'll ever see.
You know what I did? I just went and I got all of the sex scenes between Beth and the guy. They have so much good chemistry, and I just watched it for 14 minutes. Like, okay, good, I'm good. I watched the whole thing.
But I've watched the 1882 and the 1923. That goes back in time. They're fantastic. The best thing you've ever seen.
So many people. Yeah, maybe we'll give it another shot. Maybe we'll do that. I'll let you know. Okay.
I thought the same for 3 episodes. I thought, I'm bored of this. And then it just suddenly got me.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. We're rewatching. Well, I'm making him rewatch Sex and the City.
Oh wow, that takes me back. That takes me
back. Time. Yeah, now
you're not old enough for that, are you?
I love it. I just love it. The fashion, the glitz and the glamour.
I remember it first time round. Yeah, it was huge. Sarah Jessica Parker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're done. We finished all the season yet again, and then with the first movie, and now tonight we're gonna finish the second movie.
What was his name in it? Was he called Big or something?
Mr. Big. Chris Knott is the main character. Yes.
I remember. I was too busy clubbing in them days. I never watched it, but everybody.
I didn't watch it back then. Like lately,
I watched Friends, and that was about it.
Yeah, me too. But I never had time. I was always waiting tables and going to school full time and plotting my escape from Lebanon.
Is that where you were from? Oh, okay.
Yeah, grew up in Lebanon. Then I did my my bachelor and my master's in nutrition dietetics, and a whole year-long internship you have to do also to become a registered dietitian. So you become licensed. So I had to do that and then pass the qualification exams to become board certified, the equivalent of being board certified. And then literally like no breaks in between. And right after did my PhD at the University of Miami. And so came to Miami. Wow. Yeah. And just a few months later, I met my hubby, and so like throughout the whole time, I'm like waiting tables and getting all kinds of jobs and full-time, studying. But
now you can watch all these amazing 90s shows.
Exactly.
So you can
I'm rediscovering the world.
Well, it's been fantastic catching up. I've got to put my little boy to bed now. It's nighttime here. It's 9:20.
Where can people find you?
Coach Al Reeves. Coach Al Reeves. So Reeves, like Keanu Reeves, it's spelt the same.
Okay.
We're not related. We're not related, unfortunately.
Okay.
But Coach Al Reeves, that's the main one on Instagram. All my details are on there.
Fantastic. Follow him. I'll make sure I post your links in the description box below. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for sticking with us till the end. If you enjoyed this kind of content, if you have questions, drop them in the comment section below. I read them, and I'm sure we're going to answer them. And give this YouTube video a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that little notification bell icon so YouTube alerts you every time I post a new video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.
Thanks, Sarah. Thank you.
Thank you.